Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To our young professionals, this is Imam Azhar. Jazakumullah khairan for joining us this evening. We thank you for your patience and we thank you for your participation. Alhamdulillah, it's a great blessing to be with you all once again. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Almighty, that He showers upon us His grace and mercy and that He continues to guide us on the path that is straight that leads to Him. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Again, alhamdulillah, so nice to be here with all you. Sister Zahra, wa alaikum salam. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Uh, Alhamdulillah, we are just a little over a week away from Ramadan, and what would be a better time than now to come together and start really thinking about a valid and viable game plan to make Ramadan a successful one. So that's what we're here tonight to talk about, and inshallah, I'll be requesting your assistance and participation tonight. So we'll give a few seconds for everyone to join on with us, and with that, we will begin, inshallah. Please feel free to introduce yourself and say salam. This is as we do in our sessions on Wednesdays. This is an open discussion, inshallah. And please, I don't want to bore you with my constant talking. So, inshallah, please do feel free to talk. Alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with another day and He's blessed us with life. And with that, we thank Him. For that, we do truly thank Him. Today in the afternoon, we had a class for the children who do the tahfizul Quran in the masjid. They memorize the Quran. And Imam Asila shared with us that a member of the community up in New York has lost 95 members of his family and friend circles, and he's asking for dua. So I'm confident all the people who've died till now couldn't think in their wildest dreams, in their wildest nightmares, sorry, that they would be dying this year, and none of us do. We never think about when death may occur. We never think about if death will occur sooner than later. Wa alaikum assalam, Brother Yusuf and your wife, thank you so much for joining us. And subhanAllah, when he said the number 95, it really baffled me. And subhanAllah, around the same time, we got the news that a very dear friend of ours and an uncle who served as a mentor to me while I was an imam in Florida. He's from the Massachusetts area, but he used to be a snowbird in Florida where we resided. Alhamdulillah, he worked with the United Nations with many different on many different initiatives. And alhamdulillah, he was a chairman for the Islamic Council of New England, and he passed away also 2 nights ago, and his janazah was this morning. And subhanallah, again, we thank Allah for life. I think that's really what it goes down to when we say we thank Him and when we truly mean we thank Him. It comes from a different part from within us. So jazakumullah khairan to all of you. Thank you for coming here today, and please do feel free to introduce yourselves. We have a very important topic to discuss tonight, and that is our preparation for Ramadan. We have, inshallah, as I said, close to 9 days to prepare for Ramadan. It's a great possibility. Next week, Thursday, would be Taraweeh, and inshallah, Friday will be the first fast. So, Alhamdulillah, we have a blessed time approaching, and we are in a blessed time, and we've come from blessed times. So, time is the blessing that we need to appreciate. And since, as Muslims, we truly appreciate more than other times a month of Ramadan, we ask Allah the Almighty that that appreciation continues beyond Ramadan. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. So, inshallah, without further ado, today we're going to talk about the top-down approach. I understand that, wa alaikum salam, Tajir, thank you so much for joining us. I understand that, fundamentally speaking, a lot of people talk about, the grassroots movements and how you really build yourself from the bottom up. But in aspect to Islam, I feel that we're losing something in that approach. You see, how many of us have heard over and over again from different speakers in different ways, maybe through text, maybe through listening, maybe in a class, maybe on the radio, when you're driving and you're putting on your YouTube and listening to speeches, that how important it is to embed within us faith, and how important it is for us to be God-fearing people, and how important it is for us to adhere to the prescription of prayer on a daily basis. We're talking a lot about the fundamental practices, but for some odd reason those fundamental practices aren't taking off. It's like we've tried multiple climates, types of earth, areas around the world to try to plant the seeds of our foundation, yet we are failing to see it grow to fruition. Many times we're failing to see it even sprout. So we're standing here scratching our head and thinking, okay, I've been praying for so many years. I've been observing Ramadan and fasting for so many years. Why isn't there any growth? And I hope you all agree with me that that level of frustration exists. I can say for myself it exists. It exists because sometimes you're like, why is it that we are tested in various scenarios, health and sickness, in the midst of people and in seclusion as we are right now, in days that we have things to do and days we have nothing to do? Why is it that we're not seeing a rise? And so the answer to that, thinking about this today for this session tonight, I contemplated on this quite deeply. And what I realized was we are pushing a lot of the fundamental aspects of the religion, but without articulating the end goal that makes this fundamental effort worthwhile, that makes this effort something that you would put your time and energy towards. So, for example, if you have bricks and you have land and you have the opportunity to build, but you don't build, and you sit there every day complaining, why are there a bunch of bricks on my lot? Why are there these, beams of wood and scaffolding and all this stuff? Why is this mess here? If a person doesn't realize that there is a ultimate plan before them, then everything that's in front of them is going to be a mess. But for someone who has a structural plan in their head, that this is how the building is going to look, whatever it is, this is how many stories it's going to be, this is how the square footage is going to lay out. Is it going to be square? Is it going to be rectangle? Is it going to be circular? Whatever it is. The fact that they have the end in their mind, now they could go down and use those materials, use those what you call tools that are accessible, and start making it happen. Again, a person has land. They have a whole bunch of material, bricks and wood and what you call it, pipes and scaffolding to build. Everything's there. One sees it as the channel to make their dreams a reality. The other one says, this is my destruction because all this stuff is just sitting on my land. And they'd be holding their head and sitting there saying, what am I going to do with all this? Well, what you're going to do is nothing. Because in the absence of the articulation of the end goal, you're just going to waste your life sulking away. Why did this stuff happen to me? And so, why isn't my prayer, my fasting, my Ramadan really making me into a better person? It's not so much about doing what needs to be done as it is understanding the ultimate goal and plan that makes the ultimate goal possible. It's about making that ultimate goal possible. So, in the absence of articulating that ultimate goal, these actions prove little to no benefit in the grand scale of things. Yes, worship is amazing. You worship Allah, you pray to Him, you get your rewards, it's all good. But on the grand scale, where is it going to take you? If till now Ramadan hasn't taken you anywhere, and your prayers hasn't taken you anywhere, and your Quran hasn't taken you anywhere, it's time to stop and say, not that these things are bad, these things are good, but why don't I make it into something? Why don't I take these bricks and make them into a bedroom or a house or a structure? And so tonight, in our discussion of preparing for Ramadan, we are going to start with articulation of that end goal. Does that sound viable for everyone? You could say yes or no. If not, then please do ask if this makes sense, if it doesn't make sense, and we'll just change the channel if that's okay. Please feel free to type inshallah. Does that make sense? That we're not going to go into this Ramadan just to do what needs to be done. We're going to start using what we do towards building something bigger, inshallah. Makes sense, inshallah? Thank you, Brother Pavan, and Tanjir, thank you so much. Okay, so one of the things that came to mind in this discussion in my head today was we seldomly talk about how instrumental the journey to paradise. Sister Zahra, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Jazakallah khair. I just wanted to make sure that you all are engaged and that I'm not just ranting on or babbling on. So thank you so much. There's an end goal. It's called paradise. It's called Jannah because it's a garden. It's garden because it's an area of bliss and peace. It's where you go and you leave your worries behind. It's where you sit and you forget that the clock is moving. It's where you can lay down and forget that what day it is. And it's a place where you can stroll and not care about yourself. That's what paradise is. I don't know if any of you have had, and I'm sure you all have, gone to the botanical gardens. It's a place where when the body connects with nature, there is a very different feeling. There's a feeling of bodily peace, right? And you feel very much happy. And as your body feels connected with its essence, trees, plants, grass all come from dirt, and from dirt we came also. And so you feel physically at ease. You won't see people fighting in a park. You'll see people enjoying, strolling, talking, picnicking, having a laugh, stand up comedy. People will be singing. You go to Central Park in New York, you go to any park. It's just happiness. Why? Because the body found its place. Thank you so much. Jazakallah khair. The body found its place. Now, when the body finds its place, the mind finds ease knowing that the body has found its place. So now the mind and the body are in sync. But if the soul cannot join the two, and you know, as I say, two is a company, three is a crowd. It's not a crowd when your mind, body, and soul come together, because it's not three separate elements coming together. Rather, it's three separate elements becoming one. There's a big difference of three people stuffed in a room or three parts that come together and form one. And so the park analogy, I'm sure, makes some sense that body feels great, mind feels at ease, soul kind of sleeping away. Now we go to a mosque, for example, or we go to a pilgrimage, or we go to a gathering where there's beautiful recitation and there's some beautiful speeches going on. Our soul feels connected. Our soul feels happy. Our soul feels like, give me more. I love this. It's nourishing itself, and as it nourishes itself, it wants more of this. And because the soul is so eager and desires this, the mind then gets to the soul. Hey, this looks good. Let's connect with you. If your soul's happy, then your mind is at ease also. Then at that time, you forget what time it is. At that moment, you forget where you are. You get so caught up in the speaker's words that you forget who you're listening to. It's a whole different zone. So now the soul is clicking, the mind is corresponding, but the body's just like, okay, I'll just hang out here and I'll sit around. Maybe after a few minutes, I'll change my position, or I'll move my feet on the chair, depending if I'm on the floor or if I'm on a chair. I'll kind of move myself around. The body's like, okay, I'm here for the sake of being here. So in correlation in perspective to this example, we find again two of the three elements of ourselves is in sync. The other one's like, okay, I'll just tag along. You don't see the body react in a spiritual state the same way the soul does. The soul kind of pulls the body. In the same aspect, when the body is finding its connection, it's finding its peace, the mind is always going to be with it. The soul's like, okay, I'm just tagging along with you. So, where can it be? How can it be? What is a recipe for it to be that three, all three of all three elements of us come together? Where is that? And so, the verse of the Quran that reminds us about the goal and objective of fasting, it articulates the answer. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. Allah says in the Quran, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, O you who have believed, Kutiba alaykum as-siyam, fast has been ordained upon you. Kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum, as it was ordained on those before you. La'allakum, because there's a goal, so that you may achieve, so that you may accomplish, so that you may bring to fruition, so that you can build a goal into reality. لَعَلَّكُمْ, so that you may تَتَّقُونَ, become an embodiment of piety. Let it be known that taqwa in piety is the recipe where the body, soul, and the mind come into sync. Where have we ever experienced that? In the last few days of Ramadan. It may not be in the beginning days, it may not be in the middle days, it may not be the weekdays, sometimes it may not even be a Sunday. It may possibly be a Saturday. Fridays we're over exhausted because it's a Friday and we just got out from work and Jumu'ah and now it's Taraweeh and breaking the fast. So it's a feeling that comes together at the end of Ramadan because you are building and trying with error. It's some days the soul is good, some days the body is good, some days the mind is good. It's a constant juggling. You're juggling all these elements and you're trying to figure out where is the harmonious balance of all three. Where could my soul, body, and mind come together? These are three parts. How can they come together? And so the struggle of these 30 days will bring to you that day, that moment in time that you're truly gonna feel it click. For the Sahaba, it didn't happen on day one, it didn't happen on day two, it didn't happen after the migration. There's a reason why the Prophet Muhammad said, Al-Hajju Arafah, that pilgrimage is Arafah. What did he mean by that? Did he mean that you don't have to go for 5 days to pilgrimage, just go to Arafah and come home? Well, for those who took it literally, many people do that. But many more don't do that because they know Hajj, the Prophet ﷺ did for 5 and 6. If you stay an extra day, it's good, and if not, that's fine. But the purpose was when Rasulullah ﷺ articulated that, he meant something much bigger. And that meant it was in that moment in time, it was in that place, in that moment, amongst those people that he saw in his Sahaba that the body, mind, and soul came together. And that is called, my dear brothers and sisters, taqwa. That is called piety. When what your soul needs and what your body needs and what your mind agrees with both all come together. Remember, your soul cannot go to the masjid and pray, and your body alone cannot sit down and watch the NBA playoffs if it ever happens this year. There has to be one dragging the other. But in this state, when you are pursuing your spiritual connection through bodily practices that bring about serenity to the heart and peace to the mind, let it be known when that feeling comes, it might be the 27th night, it might be the 29th night. That's the moment when you feel it click. Now, that feeling is to let you know that you are able. It's there to let you know it's possible. It's there to let you know you can do it. But then the question arises, you can do what? You can do what? So for a person who, if you ever go skiing, there's those small slopes first. They're for the testers and for training yourself and for kids to get used to it, even adults. Once you could get past those smaller slopes, then they allow you to go to the bigger ones and the higher ones. But in the absence of your ability to tackle the small ones, the big one is out of the question. If a person is going to go skiing, thank you. You got it. So just remember this. It's a history. There's a historical trend. Every year Toronto wins something, the following year is always, I don't know, a curse or a blessing. See, when the Maple Leafs won the NHL, the NHL Stanley Cup in 1917 or 1918, the following year there was no playoffs. When the Blue Jays won, then following year there was no playoffs, and then there was no World Series, and the following year they won again. So they won twice, but they held the title for 3 years. And now the Raptors won. It seems we're going to be holding on for it for one more year. You're welcome. I understand how jealous Americans are, but that's fine. This is Canada's moment. We hope COVID-19 doesn't hold off anything, but we hope we can hold on to the NBA championship. So thank you for that. So Subhanallah, if a person was to go skiing and see those great slopes and those mountains and people coming down from different ways, and they say, I come here just to go on these testing slopes and I'm good with skiing, it's a sad, sad state to be in. Granted, you're skiing, but the purpose of being on those slopes was to get to the bigger one. The goal isn't this, the goal is that. When you go skating, for example, many times in Canada, when you see people skating in the rink, there's a section that they corner off for people. Oh, Ayaz, you're Canadian. Nice to meet you. Joking, Ayaz. Alhamdulillah. Tim Hortons. This weather calls for some Timmies. So you see people skating with chairs. It's small little chairs with like metal legs, like the small elementary school type of chairs, where you hold on to and you start skating to get used to it. If a person was to go skating every day of their life, to hold on to a chair and feel satisfied that they're holding a chair, while the rest of the people are skating and figure skating, speed skating, they're doing everything on that side, and you're like, I'm happy here. I'm sure you and I would agree that's a loss. Take these two examples into perspective with myself. If I feel the high in Ramadan, if I feel that peak in Ramadan, if I feel that synergy and the connection, Omar, thank you so much for telling me. I did not know who that person was. So Omar, thank you so much for introducing yourself. So if you were to feel that high and you were to feel that energy and you were to feel that ability, that's called piety. That's when your soul, body, and mind comes together. Now, if you don't capitalize on that for the bigger picture, you really lost. And I think for too long we've been losing. I think for too long we've been missing the bigger picture. And what we gauge our Islam is, I pray, I go Jummah, I give zakat, I give charity every week, I feed the poor. Alhamdulillah, that's fine. But you are satisfying yourself and trying to bring about satisfaction in the eyes of others with your small tester slope or holding a chair and skating. That's not what it's supposed to be about. What is the big picture? What is the dream? What is the objective? What is it that we're trying to reach? And that's why I said today we're going to go from the top down. It is due time for us to ask ourselves, do I want to gain paradise? The discussion of paradise needs to be revived amongst us. Not to give hope, not to give courage, not to pat the shoulder of someone who's grieving that they lost and say, don't worry, they're in paradise. Tell me. I ask you tonight to tell me, don't type it, tell me through your mind. What is paradise? What is it that we're going to? Why is it that God has made the ultimate goal paradise? What is so beautiful about that place? What is so admirable about that place? What is so unique about that place? You see, if you don't have the goal to build paradise, 20, 30, 40 years of your life, you're going to be sitting on your land and going to be crying, why is this crane? Why is this dump truck? Why is this cement truck? Why are these bricks on my land? When we do our worships, it's not to accumulate, it's to get and to use. Every step of the way, I'm building my structure to get to my paradise. So when I die, I can literally walk across. There's a reason why people will cross a bridge over to paradise. There's a reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created this bridge of Sirat that's going to go over hell. Why did Allah take us underwater to paradise? Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala just slingshot us across to paradise? Why is paradise across something anyways? It's because you have to reach your elevation in order to enjoy that last step towards paradise. So the fact that paradise will be brought down and hell will be brought up and the day of judgment will occur is because people will then have to go from their current elevation to the elevation of their paradise. But if I do my acts of obedience, but I don't build my structure to the height to reach parallel to my paradise, I've been procrastinating and I've been wasting my time for so long that I assumed having a brick denoted a house, having wood denoted a kitchen, having a tub denoted a bathroom. No, it did not until it is put together, assembled, constructed, built out, pipelines, everything put together, it then is described as a house. Until the house doesn't look like a house, it's a shell. And until the land is empty, it's called land. We all are sitting on our land. And we haven't taken advantage of the items at our disposal to truly build out our paradise. You will build yourself as high as you want to be to just go across the bridge to your paradise. So now, when I see that paradise being my goal, it makes sense to pray more prayers. It makes sense to give more charity. It makes sense to go all in. It makes sense to fast 6 more days after Ramadan. It makes sense to make up prayers for the times you've missed. It makes sense to be kind to those you've shunned. It makes sense to become a better human. You know why? Because what's at stake is in front of you. It's like a person who starts investing in a business and now they come to a point where they're on a crossroads. Do they leave it or do they go all in? People who are of passion and commitment and they know in their head what that dream looks like, they will bleed money if they have to, but they're gonna make it happen. Why? Because it's the dream that makes them run. There's no devil standing there that's making them run to bleed out money. They do it because they know what they want to see, and their commitment and dedication makes it happen. You and I are being told tonight as we prepare for Ramadan to start seeing your paradise, to start visualizing in your mind that this is where I want to go and this is where I am going to go. There's not an if and but about it. The fact that Muslims say, Inshallah, I'm gonna go paradise. I hope I'm gonna go paradise. Yes, you have to hope, but you have to work. And it's your work that will determine where your hope stands, not your expectations or your dreams or fantasies. Has to be real now. If COVID 19 takes our life, I'm going to paradise. And until COVID 19 or when my death comes, takes my life, I'm going to make sure paradise is built out and I got a golden door waiting for my entrance. I got the band waiting and I got the trumpets and the fireworks. I'm going to go for it. When you dream that, now your actions will start building it. And as your actions build it, your mind is sold on it, your soul will run for it, your body will tag along. Ultimately, the body and soul will become like two tires of the bike. The front doesn't tell the back when to turn, nor does the back tell the front when to turn. They turn simultaneously. Why? Because what's before them now is the journey. That as you sit on this bike, the bike will take you where you want it to go. In the same way, once your soul is determined where it needs to go, your mind and your body will move with you. It will be one embodiment. It will be that one connection. And Ramadan's going to give you and I one more chance, inshallah, that we get there. And inshallah, we get through it with health and goodness and prosperity. It's going to give us that one more opportunity to feel and experience what it means when you are in sync, when you are connected, when you are free from bugs and viruses. And I'm not saying the viruses, I'm saying like giving an analogy of like computers and glitches and viruses. When you're free from it all and you're in that zone of protection and that zone of goodness, now you're going to feel it. So the first step for preparing for the month of Ramadan tonight, what's the first step? That I need to articulate what my paradise looks like. And I need to articulate how high it is. And I need to determine how large it is. And I need to determine how vast it is. And I need to determine how many houses are going to be there. And I need to determine how green it's going to be. And how much water there's going to be. And how many trees of gold and silver there are going to be. And how many singing birds are going to be. And how many fruits, that each bite of each fruit will have a different texture, a different taste, a different feeling, a different satisfaction. How do I want that to look? That's why I said in the beginning, tonight we're going top down, not bottom up. The bottom cannot come up unless you tell it how high it needs to be. And so, I've been talking for so long, and I apologize. Another khutbah, I just gave another khutbah here. I want to hear from you all. What's your thoughts on this first step? That we determine where we want to be, and then we strive in this month as we feel the synergy and the connection between our body, soul, and mind, that we continue to rise higher and further until we make that goal possible. That is when you don't have to talk about the prayers that you did, nor do you have to worry about missing those prayers. It's all going to come into sync. It's all going to work. So for that, inshallah, we all need to focus. Don't make this Ramadan another Ramadan. We've had too many same Ramadans. We've had too many Ramadans that were happy to the body, exhausting to the mind, and so for the soul. Right now, our bodies are miserable. Right now, our minds are in the dirt because we're stuck. We can't get out. We can't do anything. I feel like I'm in a prison. No, this is the perfect moment. Remember, the perfect moment for healing is when a person is very sick, might be in the ICU. It might be that moment that gets them through this and beyond. And so this is our ICU. And let it be known that human nature has always been seclusion. We've been alone in the womb. We were alone. We're going to be alone in the grave. We're going to be standing alone on the day of judgment, mentally, not physically. And we're going to go into our paradise. If we make the effort, then we can join our families and stuff. Make sure we balance out the purpose of community and the pleasure of community. Having people around you is a purpose, but it shouldn't become a pleasure, because if it becomes a pleasure, it's always going to be, I would love to be around people and I feel better, and I feel less of myself when I'm not around people, and that's not what it's supposed to be. There's supposed to be a balance. You need your me time, you need the us time, and you need the Allah time. And so now we have a chance to make that balance. Any questions? Any thoughts? Any concerns? Any advice that you all can give me, please, inshallah? I love to hear from all of you, so please, inshallah. Brother Omar is saying, I think this Ramadan will be actually more emphasized on refreshing your mind because there won't be social distractions, although although those parts are fun, this year is going to be on us. That's it. This is going to be the year when you're stranded in the middle of nowhere and there's no AAA and there's a tire in the trunk and there is a jack next to it, and you're just going to have to do it. Yeah, you got your phone if you're lucky. If you have signal, you could watch a YouTube video how to change a tire, but I'm confident you can do it. Right now, you're looking at saying there's a wrench, there's these four nuts, there's this flat tire. I can't do it. Brothers and sisters, you can do it. Allah created you to do it. Allah created you to succeed for yourself. Allah did not create you to take on the success of a collective unit. We will succeed individually, and our individual success will define and determine our collective ummah success. But in this hope that everyone, someone will succeed and all kind of trickle in with them, it's not going to happen. We all individually succeed and we'll move together, inshallah. It's going to be mindset refreshing. Yes, it's going to refresh our mindsets, inshallah. It's going to allow us to reassess and reevaluate. And truly, my fellow friends, this is a great opportunity. This is a blessing from God. Because if it wasn't for this, we would be stuck in the hamster wheel. I don't know if we were running the hamster wheel or was the hamster wheel running us. You know, I got two hamsters outside there and you could hear them. They're right now in their little balls bumping around. But when they're in the hamster wheel, one of them, it goes on for so long. I ask myself, are you running the wheel or is the wheel running you? And that's the question that we get to ask right now. You know, none of us in the state of physical pleasure or mental satisfaction or spiritual devotion ever felt whole. You can never feel whole just by being in a masjid. You can never feel whole by watching your favorite show. You can never feel whole by being where your body loves to go, like the park or something. You have to bring them together. And that's what taqwa means. This is the time in Ramadan where the three will actually come together. You may not feel it at first. You may not feel it at last. But you're going to feel it somewhere in between for sure. And when you do that, realize that's the energy, that's the force, that's the power you and I need to get to where I want to go, where you want to go. So we all are going somewhere. Why not prepare? Why not plan? And why not execute? So when we get to our paradise, we can smile and say, I did a good job. Because remember, paradise is your making. Paradise is your effort. Paradise is your sweat and it's your blood, not mine. It's yours. Each one of us, it's our effort. And so we got a great Ramadan before us. We got the Ramadan of a lifetime before us. And I'm confident, inshallah, when we think from this angle, not this angle, we've been thinking about this angle. You know, for too many years been thinking about it from this angle. Okay, I'll pray in Ramadan. I won't miss a Jummah in Ramadan. I'll give my zakat in Ramadan. And then we come out on the opposite end. Hey, I did it. Small slopes. Holding your chairs and skating. And you're happy about it. No, you're only able to be happy about it. You only have the right to be happy about it when you go on to the bigger slope. When this converts and translates into the bigger slope or into freelance skating without any assistance, now you need to be happy. Now you can truly say, I did it. And so we're going to make conversion this year. And we're doing the top-down approach because when we come from the top down, we will be able to go from the bottom back up, inshallah. Any other questions or thoughts? Anyone? Feel free to type. Do not feel that I'm speaking too much and that you have to pause. Please type, inshallah. Brother Ayaz, any words of wisdom from the north? Can you send down a breeze of wisdom from Ottawa for us? A breeze of sanity and stability. No, Ayaz is still thinking. Bilal, Omar, mashallah. The sisters, alhamdulillah, we're so blessed to have all of you. And again, I thank you all for this opportunity because we get an opportunity to reflect. This is our opportunity to speak to each other and to reflect on the subject matter that we all need. I personally need it, and I'm so happy that we're having the opportunity to discuss it. So inshallah, that's perfect. Alhamdulillah. So in the absence of these chats, we'll ask Brother Bilal if he has any announcements to make or anything to share with us. And with that, we will conclude tonight. And again, until Bilal shares or while Bilal is sharing his announcements, if anyone has a question or thought, please feel free to share it. Bilal, I'll hand it over to you, and I hope he is there. I don't think Bilal is there tonight. Let's see. Alhamdulillah. No questions, no thoughts. Yusuf, are you good? Is everyone okay, inshallah? Alhamdulillah. Is everyone healthy? Are you all doing okay, health wise? Yes or no? Can I get a yes or no from you guys? Wayakum, brother, mashallah. Wayakum. Are you all doing good? I'd love to see yeses, inshallah. Wayakum Bilal. Thank you to everyone also for joining us. And we'll have one more session next Wednesday, inshallah. Yes, alhamdulillah, very good. Time versus Allah time balance. Okay, Yusuf is asking, can you elaborate on the me time and the Allah time balance? Great. Wayakum to everyone else. They'll answer Yusuf's question. Good to hear you all are doing well. If there's anything I can do, my family can do, or anyone, we are brothers and sisters. Please feel free to reach out to us, inshallah. Anything I can do to help, please do not hesitate, inshallah. Alhamdulillah, this morning we had an opportunity to share food with the Children's Hospital in Plano. Beautiful place that we were able to serve and to share the love of the community. And alhamdulillah, there's a lot of good things happening out there, a lot of good people out there. We all have greatness in us, and when the greatness comes together, it's just tremendous things. The Kainat is saying, please keep in your prayers. I'm a healthcare worker. May Allah protect you, and may Allah keep you under His protection, and may Allah make you the channel of shifa to your patients. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Remember, this is a great service you're providing, and we all are indebted to those who are on the front lines, sacrificing their lives, from the sanitation workers, the nurses, the doctors, the physicians, the staff. Wayakum, you're doing a tremendous job, and we are grateful to all of you, inshallah. And this is so good to hear. So Yusuf, the click I was talking about, and we'll end with this, the click, when the body, mind, and soul get together, is when your body's time and your soul's time and your mind's time, their wants, their needs actually become one. It's when your body is pushing you to prayer, which is the nourishment of the soul. It's when the soul that's pushing the body to eat healthy. It's when the mind is pushing the soul to be grateful to Allah. It's when the body is using its right hand to eat the food. If you understand where I'm going here, it's where everything becomes one. It's when there's no more, I need a mental break. I need to physically take a day off. I need to go for my spiritual pilgrimage. No, it's when they become one. And in the seerah, in the life of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, there was a time when Allah alludes to in the Battle of Uhud, when they were so distorted mentally. Physically, they were more able than the time of Badr. But the problem was, spiritually, they had a deficiency which led to their mental insecurity. And Allah says, فَأَنزَلَ اللَّهُ السَّكِينَةَ عَلَيْهِمْ. Allah sent down this tranquility on them because the mind was in a bad position. Their bodies were useless at that point because spiritually they did not listen to the Prophet ﷺ. These type of incidents, and there's so many more, that bring to light that the synergy and the connection between all three of these is so important. How does it happen? When did it happen? It was at a time in the most least expected places, when the Sahabas came in the most greatest number. There was over 100,000 Sahabas who joined the Prophet ﷺ in the Hajj. And when they were in the plains of Arafah, in the day in the daytime, it was from 12 to like 6. at that time the Prophet ﷺ saw them. He didn't see their bodies struggling with their souls, or their souls struggling with their bodies, or their minds telling them to go inside or sit down because it's too hot. He found them in serenity and bliss. And so when the three elements of me become one, then every time is my time, my body's time, and my Allah's time. It's all one. And each part of your body will crave for the same thing at the same time and gain satisfaction through it at the same time. That is why in our religion, sleep is worship, bathroom is worship, eating is worship. What does that mean? These are bodily needs. But when they are done according to the way of Rasulullah, that's a spiritual component. And what will remind you to do it according to the Prophet is a stable mind. And so your bathroom will be worship, your masjid will be worship, your Quran will be worship, your work will be worship, bringing them together. And so we're going to take you, I'm confident all of you have experienced that in your life every year in Ramadan. This time, we're not just going to experience it, we're going to capitalize on it, inshallah, and we're going to excel. Why are we going to excel? Because this week we are drawing out in our minds what I want to see tomorrow. The top, down, the bottom, up, inshallah. I hope that makes sense to all of you. Jazakallah khairan. Sorry for taking all of your times. Your time is greatly valuable, and I appreciate and I'm humbled that you've given me your time. And I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He grants you great return because of the time that you gave to us today. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. So Jazakumullah khairan to all of you. Take care, be well, be safe, stay positive. Don't forget those smiles. Say salam to the people around you, and give my salam to your families also. And inshallah, Bilal, everyone, we'll see you all soon, inshallah. Wa yakum. Take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.